The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. Sri Lanka will get another consignment of vaccines next month. CID probes a financial misappropriation of nearly 1,500 million rupees during the time of the Good Governance government. Mr. Tissa Attanayake says the United National Party can join the alliance of Samagi Janabalawegaya. Marine Environment Protection Authority reveals it will take 3 months to calculate the damage caused by the Express Pearl ship. On news overseas, Hong Kong bans all incoming flights from UK over COVID concerns. In sports news, the first one-day international between Sri Lanka and England is underway at Chester, Le Street. Local stories in detail. Chairman of the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, says that Sri Lanka will get 200,000 Pfizer vaccine doses next month. The country will also receive 2 million Sinopharm doses on the 1st of next month, apart from 100,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccine. It has been decided to give the Moderna vaccine as a second dose for those who were given AstraZeneca's first dose. Dr. Gunasena said that it is possible to give more vaccines to the people next month. The Criminal Investigation Department has launched an investigation into a financial misappropriation of nearly 1,500 million rupees that has taken place at the Western Province Development and Urban Development Ministry during the time of the Good Governance government. Mr. Patali Champikaranawaka was the minister of the relevant ministry during that time. The amount of cash has been spent on a program called Iron Man by him. However, no such program has been publicized. However, 5.8 million rupees have been paid in installments for a company for its publicity. Officials, including the ministry secretary at the time, media secretary, and the accountant, are alleged to be linked to the financial misappropriation. The state auditor has conducted an investigation into the fraud. The CID is taking steps to take legal action against the persons connected to the financial misappropriation based on the report of the state auditor. National organizer of Samagi Janabalawegaya, Tissa Attanayake, says they are paying attention on the actions of the United National Party after Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe took oaths as a Member of Parliament. The United National Party can join the alliance, which will be set up by Samagi Janabalawegaya. However, Chairman of the UNP, Vajra Abewardena, said they are not prepared to join with the group which divided the party. He said that the UNP can perform the tasks of the opposition. Chairperson of the Marine Environment Protection Authority, Darshini Lahandapura, says that it will take 3 months to calculate damage caused to the environment by the Express Pearl ship. The foreign expert team, which arrived in the country, has made several tests and investigations into the incident. A 41-member team of 14 organizations are taking action on the damage caused to the environment. The Indian Navy and NARA are conducting investigations into the remaining containers of the ship. MP Dilan Pereira says that the decision of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to bring in Mr. Basil Rajapaksa to Parliament is correct. He pointed out that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna won 3 elections due to the organisation ability of Mr. Basil Rajapaksa. He said that when Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa was the president, Mr. Basil Rajapaksa properly managed the economy. Chairman of the Patriotic United National Party, Sugat Heva Patirana, says that the Samaki Jana Balawegaya and the United National Party are two sides of the same coin. He said there is no difference in policies of both parties. He pointed out that Mr. Sajith Premadasa has not taken part in a television discussion during his 25 years of political history. He said Mr. Premadasa is misleading the public, stating he has made huge sacrifices on behalf of destitute people while overlooking media. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, the Colombo Special High Court ordered to take up the case filed by Attorney General against a group of suspects, including former Minister Ravi Karunanayake, on the 20th of next month. They have been accused of incurring a loss of more than 36 billion rupees during a central bank bond auction in 2016. The Foreign Employment Bureau says 142 Sri Lankans employed overseas have died of corona infection. Deaths have been reported from 16 countries, including Saudi Arabia, United Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman. They have all left for employment registered by the Foreign Employment Bureau. In continuation of India's Defence Cooperation initiatives with Sri Lanka towards maritime security and capacity building, the Government of India gifted Sri Lanka 650 machinery parts worth 120 million rupees to augment maintenance capability of Sri Lanka Coast Guard ship Suraksha, that was presented by the Government of India in October 2017. The machinery parts of the final consignment were formally presented to the Director General, Sri Lanka Coast Guard, Rear Admiral German Ekanayake, by the Deputy High Commissioner of India, Vinod Jacob, in a function organised today at Sri Lanka Coast Guard Base, Varna. Anunayaka of the Asgiri chapter, Venerable Vendaruwe Upalithera, says that the steps taken by the President to encourage farmers to use organic fertilizer is commendable. He pointed out that certain elements are trying to disrupt the program. He said that people became victims of various diseases due to toxins added to the soil over several decades. The government has to spend huge amounts of money to treat people who became ill. Therefore, he said that everyone should support the President's program. To end the local news, the headlines again. Sri Lanka will get another consignment of vaccines next month. CID probes a financial misappropriation of nearly 1,500 million rupees during the time of the Good Governance government. Mr. Tissa Attanayake says United National Party can join the alliance of Samagi Jana Balawegaya. Marine Environment Protection Authority reveals it will take 3 months to calculate the damage caused by the Express Pearl ship. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, Minister Professor G.L. Pires says that attention has been paid to give COVID vaccines to all students at universities, including academic and non-academic staff. The minister has held discussions with vice-chancellors about the problems faced by university students due to online education. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. 200 tanks in the Anuradhapura district will be developed under the first phase of Irrigation Prosperity National Programme. Anuradhapura District Secretary R.M. Vanninayaka says that they are being renovated jointly by the Irrigation Department, Provincial Irrigation and Agrarian Services Centres. That ends Watchlight. We move on to world news now. The headlines. Hong Kong bans all incoming flights from the UK over COVID concerns. Street celebrations take place as rebels seize Ethiopia's capital. South Africa's top court sentences ex-President Jacob Zuma. Hong Kong is to ban all flights from the UK to curb the spread of the Delta variant of COVID. The UK is to be classified as an extremely high-risk country, the highest rating Hong Kong has for pandemic travel. The ban will come into effect on 1st of July and affect all incoming passenger flights from Britain. It also comes amid political tensions between China and the West over a crackdown in dissent in Hong Kong. Rebel forces in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region have taken its capital, Mekelle, sparking street celebrations and forcing officials to flee. Residents reported scenes of joy with fireworks and thousands waving flags. The government has now called a humanitarian ceasefire in the region. The fighting has left thousands dead and has pushed 350,000 towards famine. More than 2 million people have been displaced. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has been sentenced to 15 months by the highest court in the country. This came after the Constitutional Court found him guilty of contempt after defying the court's order to appear at an inquiry into corruption while he was president. Mr. Zuma's time in power, which ended in 2018, was dodged by graft allegations. To end the world news, the headlines again. Hong Kong bans all incoming flights from the UK over COVID concerns. Street celebrations take place as rebels seize Ethiopia's capital. South Africa's top court sentences ex-president Jacob Zuma. That ends the world news. Moving on to development news, the Fisheries Ministry has launched a program to encourage the fisheries community to take to aquaculture in shallow sea waters and in lagoons where all members of the fisheries families could participate in livelihood empowerment. The program includes the cultivation of shrimps, crabs, sea cucumber, prawns and oysters. That ends development news. We move on to sports news now. The first one-day international between Sri Lanka and England is underway at Chester Street. England won the toss and chose to field. Sri Lanka was 153 for 7 wickets in 33 overs a short while ago. Wanidu Hasaranga scored 54, Kusal Pereira 73. The 3 players of the national cricket squad who were suspended and recalled for breaching the biosecure COVID bubble during England tour have arrived in Sri Lanka today. Sri Lanka Cricket said Vice-Captain Kusal Mendis, wicketkeeper batsman Niroshan Dikwalla and batsman Danushka Gunatilaka will undergo quarantine procedure at a hotel in Negombo. Lionel Messi scored twice as he became Argentina's most capped player in their 4-1 win Copa America win over Bolivia. The Barcelona forward, 34, made his 148th international appearance to take Javier Mascherano's record. Messi set up Papu Goma's 6-minute opener before scoring a penalty and adding a second just before half-time to extend his record goals tally to 75. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lankan Airlines, the national flag carrier of Sri Lanka, has been awarded the Diamond Standard by the Airline Passengers Experience Association, powered by Simply Flying, for the airline's efforts in ensuring the highest standards of cleanliness and sanitization across its operations. Having previously been awarded the Platinum Standard in January 2021, the airline was recognized for the extra safety measures and comprehensive hygiene precautions taken since the onset of the global pandemic. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Moving on to economic news, Sri Lanka, inking a preferential trade agreement with Bangladesh, should have no strings attached tariff as a key feature to ensure its success, a paper by the researchers at the economic think tank Institute of Policy Studies suggested. As the two nations are gearing up to eventually enter into a free trade agreement to increase trade flows, the IPS researchers stressed the need for Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to get concessions for products manufactured with a comparative advantage and capacity for expansion. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally, on the weather report, the Met Department says showers will occur at times in Sabaragamu province and in Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Several spells of showers will occur in western and northwestern provinces. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in Nuwa and eastern provinces and in Mullaitivu district in the evening or at night. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thundershowers. That ends the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And to end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Sri Lanka will get another consignment of vaccines next month. CID probes a financial misappropriation of nearly 1,500 million rupees during the time of the Good Governance government. Mr. Tissathanayaka says United National Party can join the alliance of Samagi Janabala Vegaya. Marine Environment Protection Authority reveals it will take 3 months to calculate damage caused by the Express Pearl ship. In news overseas, Hong Kong bans all incoming flights from the UK over COVID concerns. In sports news, the first one-day international between Sri Lanka and England is underway at Chester Street. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Over to my friend and colleague Niranjana Besundara to keep you entertained.